Hello, and welcome back to Cottonmouths 2. Today, we're heading back to the same site to collect some additional footage. And then we're going to go back, put it together, along with some footage that didn't make it into the previous episodes. And we're going to go through it. And I'll point out some details that I didn't have time to include before, show some fun facts, maybe some small things that have happened along the side. And all in all, just expect for today's episode to have a bit more of a laid-back feel, just kind of compiling some things. And hopefully, it'll be fun. Let's get to it. Let's start with some footage I managed to get here of this little water snake swimming around trying to catch prey. Where you see him here is on a flooded road, so it's smooth on the bottom, and for some reason there's a bunch of minnows all congregated up in this exact location. So many times when I would come back through here, I would see different predators out here trying to feed. There was even a gar earlier. You can watch as he's going through there. Part of the way he hunts, he swims all around just following them at speed and keeping his mouth open and trying to rotate it to the side to try to catch them. He doesn't seem to have the best luck, and that was a good go right there. What I think is interesting to see about it, though, is just how energy intensive this task is. Most reptiles don't feed in this manner, especially most snakes at least. They tend to be ambush predators and not expend this type of energy. But I suppose the food's plentiful and the temperature is preferable for him, so it's working out well. It was really fun watching this little guy, though, because he was just swimming all around right with my feet. He probably looks bigger than he is. The one I had caught and showed in the last episode was about probably 4 times this guy's weight. And this little cutie just kept swimming around, being a little feisty guy. I can't say that I ever saw him be truly successful, though. I hope he got something deep before the night was over. The other thing I'll say about what's going on here is how thick these mosquitoes were. I had to turn off my headlamp to avoid being smacked constantly by them. It was to the point where it wasn't just seeing, hey, there's a bunch of mosquitoes around, maybe they're biting me. It was so thick with them, you felt them hitting you, like the inertia of their bodies running into you. And then you just look down and be covered. I never actually got bitten. For some reason, they didn't want to through my mosquito spray, but they would still land and smack right into me, getting in your throat, your mouth, your eyes. It was kind of a pain, but hey, a notable experience. So any day that provides a story is a good day to me. Oh, whack. Really went for that one. Ooh, again. This guy made for several interesting little times to see him. Then he came to stop and check me out. He just kind of sat there for a bit, looking at me. I wanted to go anywhere. Maybe he was tired or frustrated. Sorry, little buddy. Can't help you out. This guy was a rather beautiful specimen that I had just found. Really vibrantly colored for a cottonmouth. And right here you can see there's that white color on the inside of their mouth they get the name from where they display it. None of the ones I found ever did. And you can see the fangs there, a characteristic part of pit vipers. They're like little hypodermic needles that curve back, and they'll puncture the prey with that, and then inject the venom under pressure. And then around here I turned around to get a better view of it, so you can really see the fangs in the mouth, and you can also see the heat-sensing pits behind his nose before his eye. I'll zoom in and I'll get a graphic up here in a second to point that out better. I've taken a screenshot and frozen it, and you can look right in here and see their heat-seeking pits. That's why they're called pit vipers, after all. And they use that to build a thermal image of the world around them. allowing them to see mammals a lot easier. They'll stick out like a sore thumb. So no camouflage will do them any good. So it's a really beneficial tactic for them. Then here you can see the fangs I was talking about that are just like curved hypodermic needles they inject their venom through. And right now they're wrapped in a sheath of skin. I should have pushed it back to show the actual fangs, but I didn't. Then through here, you can see a row of teeth there, 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 and there. And those are the regular teeth that they have, just like any other snake, that they use to hang on to their prey as they work it back into their mouth to eat it. Whoop. Returning to the original video now, you'll be able to make out and appreciate more details, I would hope. And in here you'll see something pop up in a second, right there. That is actually a hollow tube they can put beside their prey while they're swallowing it, so they can continue to breathe even while their entire throat is filled up. It's pretty neat. One thing I found in a particular section of my hunting grounds was a surprising abundance of juveniles. You can see here there are two side by side. These two here may very well be siblings. Some interesting things about reproduction with them is that they are ovoviviparous, meaning that the eggs actually incubate inside the mother so that she gives live birth, which is fairly unusual among snakes. They are also capable of parthenogenesis, meaning that they can actually reproduce asexually. This behavior has been witnessed both in captivity as well as in the wild. Here on this little guy that I found, zooming in on him, it's just worth noting again just how beautiful and striking their colors are when they're little. It never really seems to get old for me. See him there tasting the air, wondering what's up. In a second, you see that? Whip his head around. That's because I'm actually poking the end of his tail with my snake stick. And that's not an aggressive response or anything. I found it to be interesting that instead of running away, that was actually my intent, was to get him to flee, to get a good shot at him moving. But instead, when he feels something touching his tail, his thought is, hey, that's food. Because they have that light-colored tail to lure in prey when they're little. So obviously that was his first response. So what he does, he goes up, and you can see him flicking his tongue around by the snake stick on the end. He's trying to determine if it's food or not, and he keeps curiously going up and looking at it almost like a dog, trying to figure it out. Little curious fella. At any rate, I mess with this for a while and observe that, and eventually he's had enough of it, and he gets the idea that you can't eat metal. So then I get an idea with another one that I found. After getting the idea from the other one with the snake stick, I came back to this little cutie, and I decided to bring him a fish. You can see it touches the tip of his tail that he uses as a lure, then he tastes it, then it moves again, and he whack, hits it. There he is, putting venom into it, and very quickly it'll stop moving. Well, there you go. Now he's going to sit there and hold on to it for a bit before finishing consuming it. It actually managed to take him a little while. He's just going to sit there and be happy with what he did for a bit. Oh, the fish still got some wriggle left in him. It's almost remarkable that their venom isn't stronger than it is. Like, it's weaker than a lot of rattlesnakes. And given that they're the only semi-aquatic pit viper in the world, you'd think that would add up to a more toxic venom, seeing as things like sea kraits have some of the strongest venom in the world to stop their prey dead in its tracks underwater. A sea krait, if you're unfamiliar, is a species of permanently aquatic, actually ocean-dwelling. It's a marine sea snake. And then cone snails, not a snake, but a snail in the ocean that's carnivorous, and it has just incredibly toxic venom, some of the strongest in the world from anything. And, well, it's a snail that has to stop fish very quickly. So given they have a need to stop fish in the water quickly, kind of surprising their venom isn't more toxic than it is. But I guess for a fisherman that's accidentally stepped on one, they'll be thankful. And here you can see he's decided to go run off with this new little prize. The more I watch these little guys, the more they almost, the personality they got kind of reminds me of a dog or something. Just taking off with the treat I gave him. I suppose a dog would have fished it right on the spot, though. This guy's more in the savoring kind of mood. Here in a second, you'll see him start to actually consume it and put it back. See, he's kind of flexing around it now. And he'll start working around and try to get it going down straight and head first to slide down easily. And he's off again. There he goes, just carrying it with him. And here in a second, I'll actually finish eating it. And there he goes. You can kind of see him working it side to side to push it back into his mouth. And something I forgot to point out earlier that we can go ahead and see here is that those bulbous sections on the back of his jaws that give the pit vipers that characteristic diamond-shaped head look, those are venom glands. So that's where the venom's produced. There he goes, just working it back, working it back. One thing you'll notice is with this meal, how little it actually causes any deformation to his body. It doesn't quite give you that characteristic snake look with it in there. He's almost got it down. And then he'll be off looking for something else to eat. There he goes. He's almost got it now. And there, it's down, and now he's ready to go look for something else to eat. And now he's back off into the bush where he came from, with a full belly and his spirits lifted. We'll see you later, little buddy. Out here in Texas, by the lake, you see anything interesting? Right there. I stepped on him. Let's pick him up. Let's hope he can give us a look. He'll flatten himself out. I think the first one to stand his ground. Stinker. Well, another hook. You can show you to the camera. You want to be a star, don't you, buddy? You see, just like that, you see when he started running at me? That's not him being aggressive or coming after me at all. All he wants to do is get away. And to him, just running into this leaf litter here, or grass, seemed like the easy way to get away. He wasn't after me at all. If I hadn't stopped him, he'd have went clean to my legs, or try to hide under my boot. Look, buddy, stay here. Cooperate. Please come back at me. He's my buddy. Here I am giving a demonstration of how they actually don't want to hurt you in the passive. I'm trying to get him to strike or have a good defensive posture for the video, but he just won't do it. Come on, buddy. To be clear, it's much softer now. I was pounding the ground to scare him, but when I touch him, I'm being soft. But just enough to try to scare him, make him think I'm a predator, but he just wants nothing to do with it. They're not aggressive at all. I was thinking of pinning him so I could hold him up, give you a view of his fangs and heat-seeking pits, but I've already stressed him enough, trying to scare him into striking. I mean, it's not that I would so much be in danger, but it's just, I mean, he means me no harm, you know? I'm going out of my way, scaring the crap out of him, messing with his day. I just feel extra mean making the stress levels on him any higher than they already are. So, well, let's let him go. Bye, buddy. Here's a clip that didn't make it into the original video. I was comparing the cottonmouth on the right to the water snake on the left. When stuck side by side like this in juxtaposition, you can very clearly see how much more of a heavy-bodied animal the cottonmouth is versus the water snake. As you can see, the water snake is skinnier, more streamlined, and again, just goes back to the whole thing of not being as heavy-bodied. But it very clearly illustrates the difference when people remark about venomous snakes having a triangular-shaped head. I mean, for reasons covered in the other one, that's not always the best indicator. But it is there, and you can clearly see the difference in this clip. Well, I suppose I'll leave you with the rain that was kind enough to bring us these critters to begin with. Who knows where our adventure will take us next, but as always, thank you for watching.